Hey guys, it's Kevin again. This is coming review for Pretty Little Liars, Season 5, Episode 8. This episode was called Scream for me, and this episode, I still really enjoyed it. Not the best episode of the season by any means. I really enjoyed the episode. I thought it was a very good episode in my opinion. My only issue with the episode was that, it was a little bit filler. There was some stuff going on that made it a little bit filler, and because of that, I was not as into this episode. I still really enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I love this season, and they can't do any wrong with this season, really. But my issue with this episode was just it was not as good as the last few episodes, but overall, I still did really enjoy it. Let's just get to it, though, because this was a very good episode. The beginning was very weird. Aria, Emily, Spencer, and Hanna are in, like, a church choir singing What Child Is This? I don't know why. But Allie is being questioned by, Detective Tanner. And, they're questioning her about Shauna, but Allie insists she hasn't talked to her since she was kidnapped, which obviously is a lie. Allie continues to, lie, and she expects all them to protect her lies. And Allie comes out of the room and meets up with the liars at choir practice. We find out that they're there for choir practice. And she realizes someone went through her bag while she was talking to Detective Tanner. And basically circled all of the A notes on her choir music and wrote, "Glad to see you singing. Last time you were all choked up." And that's really creepy. So Hanna, in the meantime, is just not doing well at all. She is in a very bad state. I talked about this before. Hannah's in a very bad state, and she's just really just going down the wrong path. It reminded me a lot of Free Fall last year with Spencer. Difference is that Hanna, she actually is doing bad shit to herself. With Spencer, it was that everyone thought she was on drugs, but with Hanna, she really is doing things. So, she goes to her locker, and a beer can falls out of her locker, and Emily and Spencer urge her to get it together. They remind her she needs to apologize to Aria for blowing her up her spot at the Brew to Sydney, and Aria runs into her mom in front of the school, and I thought this was pretty surprising. Her mom is actually back, and she asked her to be her maid of honor. Her mom went away because she was engaged to be married, and she's now back, and she wants Aria to be her maid of honor in a wedding. And she made them an appointment at the bridal shop after school. And you know what? That really was the best thing she could have done. Especially since she just basically left her daughter. That was a nice thing to do. I thought that was a sweet thing to do. So, Hanna then calls Caleb because he's supposed to be meeting her for lunch. But Caleb is still in bed. And Allie finds Hanna in the quad. And Hanna apologizes to her for how she acted at Emily's dinner. And Allie says her dad is going out of town for 4 days and she wants to stay at Hanna's house. Hanna says she will talk to her mom about it. Definitely very, very interesting because as we know, Hanna really does not really want to be seen with Allie right now. When she's with Allie, bad things do not end up going well for her. She doesn't really like being seen with Allie, but she is, Allie's gonna stay with her. So, at home, Spencer, is showing Toby, because Toby's back. She's showing Toby the pictures that Bethany Young drew of Mrs.Delaurentis, basically filling him on what they have learned about Radley. I guess he wasn't killed. Toby informs Spencer that he's going to work on figuring out what really happened to his mother from the inside. If you remember, last year he tried to do this as well, but he reveals that he joined the police academy, and Spencer is obviously upset at him for this, which I don't blame her because, if this is your girlfriend, this is your girlfriend, I don't know why I just did air quotes, but if she is your girlfriend, then you should tell her, what you're doing. You should have faith in her that you should just have faith in her and tell her what's actually going on, Spencer's really upset he did without telling, her, but but Toby argues that the police in Rosewood are useless, and his friends and family need someone on the inside that can protect them. He thinks is the best thing to do. So Aria arrives for community service at Bradley, and she searches the building for Eddie Lamb. Very creepy with Eddie Lamb right now. She does not know if she can trust him. She does not know what's going on with him. And one of the nurses reveals to her that yesterday was his last day, and she has no idea where he went. So, obviously, Eddie Lamb, we don't know where he went, but Aria tries to sneak Bethany Young's sketchbook under the mattress where she left it, but she is caught by Rhonda, and Aria tries to rush off, but she won't let her, and Rhonda says she will forget that she saw Aria there, but it is going to cost her. So Hanna then arrives at home and finds Allie in the kitchen with her mom, and Ashley sends Allie upstairs to take a hot bath while she cooks some dinner. And Hanna informs her mom that she won't be eating dinner with them, and leaves to get drunk with Caleb. Obviously, she's not down a good path, as I said. So at Radley, Aria bribes Rhonda with chips and soda, and Rhonda reveals that Mrs.Delaurentis used to sign Bethany out for Radley for visits and buy her gifts, and she even bought her a pony at the stables. And Aria asks Rhonda why Mrs.Delaurentis bought Bethany gifts, but the nurse walks in and interrupts, yelling for Aria to get out. So she didn't get a chance to get the answer that she wanted, and I definitely think that's really weird why she decided to buy, why she was buying Bethany gifts. I don't know why, but we find out later why that's happening, but I definitely thought that was a very interesting scene. Just the way that all played out was very interesting, in my opinion. I definitely thought that was very interesting. And there's something that happens with the pony that I'll talk about. But that was definitely very, very interesting in my opinion. That was definitely very interesting, and I really thought the scene was very, very interesting. So basically, that was definitely very interesting, and so that was definitely very interesting. Then we get a very weird scene. I thought this was definitely very interesting and very weird, actually. Hanna goes to the brew for a sandwich. We thought she was going to go with Caleb, but she goes to the brew. But Zack has already closed early to set up his and Ella's engagement party tomorrow. Zack is Ella's fiance, and he knows that Hannah's drunk and says he can keep a secret if she can. And he starts rubbing her back and looking at her like a creep, and she grabs her sandwich and leaves. So obviously he is a pedophile pretty much, so he's definitely not to be trusted. So I'm kind of thinking possibly maybe Zack could be part of the A-team because he's acting very weird around her, and I just feel like he could be part of the A-team. You don't know. So Sydney then pays Emily a visit at her house and asks if she is going to accept the assistant coaching position. She had a shirt made for Emily that says coach on it, and she mentions something to Emily about when she was in New York, and Emily catches her in a lie. Earlier she had told Emily that she didn't remember anything Hanna said about New York, and she tries to cover her tracks and says her brain is mush from being underwater too much. Now, as we know, Sydney's obviously not to be trusted, and we can tell right here she's not to be trusted. She's probably going to do the same thing she tried to do to Hanna, to Emily. She's going to try to make her, I don't know if she's going to try to make her a target or what she's going to do, but Sydney, as we know, is not to be trusted right now. I don't trust Sydney, and I don't think many of us do at all. So Ella barges in on Aria at home. She demands to know why she blew off the maid of honor meeting at the bridal shop, and Ella thinks that Aria blew it off because she doesn't want her to get married again. So Ella agrees to reschedule the meeting and warns her not to miss it, because, she really wants Aria to be there. And Hanna, in the meantime, is getting drunk with Caleb at his house. She wants him to drive her home, and he says that he can't drive because he's too drunk and says she has to call a cab. He tries to get her to spend the night with him, but she insists on going home. So he obviously is pressuring her too much, and honestly, I don't really like the way they're writing Caleb right now. I don't like the way they're writing him because they're making Caleb seem like this very rebellious kid, and Caleb's never really been like this. Caleb's been the sort of guy that tends to, Hanna really cared about Hanna, and now it seems like they're making Caleb very rebellious. Now this could be because he is suffering, because he doesn't know where Miranda is, because, you still have that whole where's Miranda thing going on. He doesn't know where Miranda is. He wants to be with Hanna, but she's in bad shape right now. Maybe he's doing this because he knows that she's into it, so I don't know, but they're really writing Caleb poorly, and I don't really like the way they're writing him right now, but, yeah. So the next day, Hanna shows up late. She kind of lies. She says that she fell asleep in Caleb's car, and she has a crispy treat stuck in her, a Rice Krispie treat stuck in her hair. And, Emily tries to help her take it out. And Hanna confessed to Emily and Spencer that she had a weird, and she does tell them, I was glad that she told them, she did have a weird moment with Zack last night, and they think that she was drunk, much like Spencer. Why doesn't anyone believe them on this show? I mean, they're friends. I mean, they didn't believe Spencer when she said she wasn't taking drugs, and they don't believe Hanna when she says she was being sexually harassed. They think that she was drunk, but Hanna thinks she should say something to Aria, so they pretty much don't believe her right now, and I really don't know why they don't believe her, but they don't believe her for whatever reason, and I don't know why. So then Ashley barges into Hannah's room looking for Hanna, and she is, since she isn't at school, she wants to know where she is, because she's not at school, obviously, but instead she finds Allie crying, and she asks Allie why she wasn't at school, and Allie says that she heard someone trying to get into the window, and she didn't sleep all night. And Ashley says she will call the school and Allie should take the day off. And, she wants her to take the day off because she thinks that's the best thing for her to do. And, so that's what she does. And then we get probably, the craziest scene in the episode. Well, there are two really crazy scenes. Remember that whole pony thing that Arya found out about? Well, Emily and Spencer decide to head to the stable. They decide to head to the stable to, ask where Jessica kept Bethany Young's pony. And Spencer says that Mrs.Delaurentis recommended the stables, and she wants to know about the horse named Custard that she owned. Now, the stable hand says that he remembers Mrs.Delaurentis and the strange girl with her, and he says Mrs.Delaurentis wanted the girl to call her Aunt Jessie, and the girl had a meltdown. So that's definitely very interesting. So Hannah's then sitting in her car in the dark outside the brew, eating her dinner, and Zack comes outside and climbs in her car. Very, very creepy again with Zack. I have this feeling Zack is part of the A-Team. Why would he be sexually harassing her if he wasn't part of the A-Team? He says that he thinks Hanna was feeling the same vibe as her, and he writes his number down on a piece of paper and gives it to her and tells her to hit me up. Seriously, do we really need to do this again? We've done this all these years with Arya and Ezra. Ezra being, 30 and Arya being, right now she's 18. In real life she's not. Lucy Hill's, 20-something. But, this is, I do not like where this is going. I really like this plot. I just have this feeling that he's A. I mean, you can pretty much tell that he's A. I just have this feeling that, he is A because he is sexually harassing her. It just makes sense that could be A. So then it's thunderstorming and the house is dark, and Ashley finds the kitchen window open. Now remember, Allie complained that she heard someone at night. So, Ashley's very paranoid right now. She hears floorboards creaking, she sees someone run through the house, and Allie comes downstairs, and the intruder runs out the back door, dropping their knife on the kitchen floor, and Ashley calls 911. Detective Tanner shows up at the Marin house and questions Allie and Ashley. And while she's giving Detective Tanner the third degree, Ashley interrupts and tells her to stop treating her like a criminal instead of a victim. Now, I do understand that. Detective Tanner says this is a police procedure and everything, but I understand why Ashley's concerned, because the thing is, she is questioning her very, very deeply questioning her, and she's questioning her a lot about things. And the thing is, Allie might not know the answers to all of these questions, so I understand why Ashley's concerned about, Allie getting all these questions asked. I understand that, definitely. So Hanna then shows up on Arya's doorstep. She's dripping wet, and she does reveal to Arya that Zack hit on her and wanted to hook up with her. And of course, this makes Arya very worried, because this is the guy that her mother is engaged to. So in her head, I'm sure Arya was probably thinking, my mom's engaged to a pedophile? Like, what? Arya then turns on her and says that this is all her fault, and Hanna is always the problem, and she tells Hanna if she wants to spiral out of control, more power to her, but she isn't going to bring her mom down with her, and Hanna then storms out. So, now, this is very big. Why doesn't anyone believe Hanna that this is happening? Why doesn't anyone believe Hanna? Seriously. Arya thinks that Hanna, did this to herself. Now, yes, part of the things that Hanna did, yes, she did do it to herself. The drinking, the drinking, yes, she's done that to herself, things like that, blowing off things. I mean, yes, this is kind of a consequence to what she did to herself, but at the same time, you don't blame Hanna for this, Arya. You have to blame Zack for this. This actually happened, and I don't know why anyone doesn't believe Hanna. This is, like I said, very much like Spencer last season. Nobody believed Spencer when she wasn't taking the drugs. They didn't believe her, and now they don't believe Hanna. So, I don't know why they don't believe anyone. But Spencer and Emily are then snooping around the stable after hours, and Spencer finds her sister, Melissa, riding helmets hanging in one of the stalls. Now, while they're looking at the helmet, someone in black looks at them in the stall, chains the gates. The horse next to them begins trying to break down the wall of the stall. They manage to escape in the nick of time. And, this was a very weird scene. Spencer heads home, ices her eye, and, that was just a very weird scene. So Spencer then heads home. She's icing her eye from where she got kicked by the horse. and Toby shows up, and Spencer fills him in on finding Melissa's riding helmet at the stable. And Spencer thinks that A might have put it there to throw them off the Bethany Young trail and frame her sister. Which, of course, Melissa is not the person that did it. She knows that A is framing her sister. So Spencer tells Toby that she is sorry for getting upset with him earlier, and she supports him becoming a police officer. And I thought that was the right thing to do. I mean, you know, Toby did what he had to do. If he wanted to take this job, he did what he had to do, and I was glad that Spencer, in the end, did support him. That was a good thing. That's being a good girlfriend to him, and that was definitely a good thing that she did. So Arya, Zack, and Elle are making flowers out of tissue paper for the engagement party, and Arya's a little suspicious right now, and I'm sure Arya's a little bit suspicious, but she doesn't want to, I think here's the thing with Arya. She does not want to believe that Hanna, that Zack would do something to this, because she wants her mom to be happy, she wants her mom to stay. Her mom, leaves a lot, has left a lot, and things like that, so she doesn't want Zack to be that kind of person, but basically, Arya says she's going up to bed, but Ella continues, convinces her to watch a movie with her and Zack, which she does. And then the very last scene in the episode, Emily and Spencer rush to Allie's side after they learn what happened at the Marin house. And, they pretty much think that, Allie's in danger right now. But Allie confesses that she told Noelle to break into the Marin house and scare Ashley so that Ashley believes someone was really after her and thought her kidnapping story was legit. Now, this is genius, what Allie did, I will say that. This is genius, but this really makes Allie a huge target and could really makes me not trust Allie anymore. I mean, Allie really, after this, the liars should not trust her, because this makes her now, this is going to make her now seem very suspicious. I don't think Allie's A. I'll say that. I do not think Allie is A. That would just be too predictable. Who I think is A is probably Zack. Zack is probably A, or Sydney, or Mona, or Jenna. Those four people. And Emily and Spencer, they're shocked that Allie took her schemes to another level and created another lie. And that's how the episode basically ends. Now, overall, I really enjoyed this episode. Not the best episode of the season by any means, but a very good episode. A little bit filler, but I really enjoyed it overall. I thought this was definitely a very good episode, and there were a lot of things I really enjoyed about it. A couple things I do want to talk about, though. First of all, Hanna and Zack. This is not going to be a good thing between them. I called it. I knew something bad was going to happen to Hanna, and this is kind of her, karma for her going on to this, rebellious path. This is kind of her karma for that. And, pretty much what I don't know what's really going to happen as far as that goes. I don't know what's going to happen. We're definitely going to have to see what happens there. But, as far as Arya goes, Arya should definitely be very suspicious of Zack. I feel like she's going to get very suspicious of Zack. We'll have to see what happens there. As far as Rhonda, we did not see that, anything of Rhonda after that. Why is Rhonda giving Bethany, gifts? Why did she give her gifts? We really don't know why she gave her gifts. And, I want to know, why did Mrs.Delaurentis bring Bethany gifts? I mean, was Bethany a close family friend of Allie and Mrs.Delaurentis? I mean, I'm thinking Bethany did it to protect Allie. Maybe Bethany was friends with Allie and didn't want anyone to know because she didn't want to be, she didn't want Allie to be hurt or whatever, but, I'm thinking that's pretty much what happened, is that she was possibly friends with Allie. I don't really know what's going on there. Spencer, I was glad that Spencer did accept that Toby, needed to become a police officer. She did the right thing there, definitely. He needs to do what he needs to do. Emily. What's going to happen with Emily? Again, I do not trust Sydney. I do not trust Sydney at all. Something is going to happen there, because Sydney, she became very good friends with Hanna in the last episode. Now she's very close with Emily. Who she's going after next, either Spencer, Arya, or Allie. She's going over, she's going to one of those people. And again, Allie feels extremely comfortable right now. She is lying to, detective. It's really working out for her. But again, next week, Jenna's coming back. So, again, this is what I thought was going to happen. Somebody sent Sydney to make Allie feel really comfortable. That way all of them are targets. And now that Jenna's coming back, shit's going to go down. Definitely. Because Jenna, of course, Jenna was, Shauna's girlfriend, so that's obviously not going to be a good thing. If, when Jenna finds out, Jenna knows that Shauna died, she's going to definitely be very pissed at them. It's going to be very big to see what happens there. I'm very interested in the next episode. Let me know what you guys saw this episode, though. Overall, I really enjoyed this episode, but there's a lot it was not the best episode of the season by any means, but I really did enjoy it. What's going to happen with Hanna and Zack? I feel like something really bad's going to happen to Hanna. I don't know. Some bad's going to happen to her, I think. As far as Arya goes, why is Mrs.Delaurentis gave Bethany gifts? Is she going to find out more about that? Obviously, Arya needs to find out more about that. Did Spencer do the right thing? I think she did. Now, what's going to happen with Sydney? I don't know what's going to happen with Emily and Sydney. We'll have to see what happens there. What's going to happen with Allie? Do you trust Allie? Again, I don't trust Allie now. I don't trust her at all. I kind of trust her, but at the same time, I don't. I guess we'll just have to see what happens, but that's it for my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be my review for Finding Carter, which I'm really excited for, so I'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.